day of traveling through Sinaloa, and I finally made it into Narit, and I'm near Sandblast at a place called Amacama or Acama. So anyway, I found some cool camping on the beach right here. There's the old Moto back there somewhere, and it's pretty nice. I needed some rest really bad. It was a long day yesterday. Culiacan, when I went through Culiacan, it was pretty peaceful, calm. You know, I know that the violence had kicked off the day before, but the military had already gotten it under control and regained the city, and you know, traffic was just flowing as usual. People were on the streets. You would have never known anything had even happened there, other than the remnants of some burned out vehicles here and there. You could see a lot of spots, though. There were a lot of burn spots in the pavement and on the streets, so you could tell how many they actually removed, and they removed a lot. So, and then it just continued on and on and on throughout the rest of Sinaloa. Once I got to Mazatlan, a couple of more. I think there was, right outside the city of Mazatlan, there were 2 more instances of burnouts at exits coming onto the 15, and then once I got beyond Mazatlan on the 15, they were pretty frequent. I had to see, there must have been at least 20 or more throughout the rest of Sinaloa. So that was something to see. At one point, though, God, the traffic was just jacked for probably 10 kilometers. Me being on a motorcycle, I just zigzagged right on through it and got all the way to the other side. But it was mostly of their own making. The way people had jammed themselves up in there, they couldn't pass each other. It was a 2-lane road, and on one side of the fire where all the burnouts were, people were taking up both lanes, and on the other side they were taking up both lanes, so they were kind of in a gridlock. I don't know how the hell they'll solve that one. Jesus Christ. But onward today. I've got another 3 hours to get to Puerto Vallarta. I think I'll have lunch with a friend and then head on and keep going towards Acapulco. I think my next stop will probably be in Michoacan. It'll probably, where I'm at right now, it'll be late at night, but I'll get into Arenas Blancas, my favorite campground, the Turtle Sanctuary on Michoacan, and check in with my friend Moses.
Time to get back on the road. I'm here in Puerto Vallarta. I'm heading out. Luckily, I have friends all over Mexico, and I just kind of popped in on one of my good friends here in Puerto Vallarta. Got to stay the night, use his internet to get up that crazy video for driving through Sinaloa, and shower and the whole bit, and I'm ready to roll now. And right down there, 1 block, is the Malican, which is pretty interesting to walk at night. Actually, I think it's a little bit further up ahead where the main Malican is, but there are right along here this beach access. But on the Malican, there's a lot of clubs and vendors and art and all kinds of really cool stuff. Groovy. Alright, so this is the 200 exiting Puerto Vallarta to the south, which there's a lot of tourism that goes on around here. There's one little town, I forget the name of the one small town. You can stop there and you go up to a little area called Eden, and that's where they filmed the movie Predator, or I think it was, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I don't know, the helicopter's still there. Apparently there are some other interesting artifacts. I didn't go up there. We stayed there at the hotel down below and kind of walked the little town around there. but didn't actually go up into Eden. But I've heard good things about it, so check that out. And then a little beyond that is a little town called Boca de Tamatlan, and from there you can catch a boat that will take you over to Yalapa, which is a really cool little town to go visit. There's no cars there. There's a couple of motorcycles and quad runners that they, brought over, but the streets are so narrow, a car could not fit on them. So, they had just a few motorcycles there for transporting people around and, carrying goods here and there. Big old waves. Nice. Wow. So I mentioned whale watching, and I gotta say, if you're gonna go whale watching, don't do it in the U.S. It kind of sucks. We were a few months back during the summertime. Jonna and I, my partner, we were up in Washington, up in Seattle, in the Puget Sound, and we went on the whale watching tour. Guaranteed to see a whale. Yeah, from like a mile away, as the restrictions were so. There's just so many restrictions that they can't come within 100 yards of a whale. So if one happens to pop up next to your boat, then maybe, you might see one. But, I try to get pictures of the whales, and it was like just a little black dot. Unless you have a zoom telephoto lens or something, you might get a good picture then. But in Mexico, no, they go right up to it, and especially over in Baja, like where the whale sharks are in La Paz, they put you in the water where you can swim alongside of them and actually touch them. They recommend that you don't touch them because of a layer of oil on their skin that your hand would, disturb that oil. So they tell you not to touch them for that reason. But you can swim right with them. I think John and I did it down in La Paz. This really cool tour company. I think it was Mika Tours or one of their associates, and he took us out there. They found us a GoPro because we were trying to film with our phones in like an underwater case, and it didn't work that well. So they gave us a GoPro, filmed us in the water, and he did the cameraman work and everything. It was really cool. There's a video about it with his phone number on our channel. If you go and look back into the Baja series, you'll find that and swimming with the seals, and it's really cool. But in Mexico, you just get better access. There's not so much regulation, and I don't think we're not really harming them, and they're pretty careful, especially with the sea lions or the seals. You want to be careful around the pups, because if you get too close to the pups, the moms will come after mothers will come after you, and then you're screwed. Well, I'm just now noticing how awesome this road is. I was here a little over a year ago, and when we came out to Yalapa with my friends, this road was awful. I mean, potholes everywhere. We took a cab out here, and it beat the cab half to death bringing us out here. So this is really, really nice having the road, and I wasn't even paying attention the whole way from Puerto Vallarta. So it's actually been really once you pass Boca de Tamatlan, the road heads back up into the mountains and starts winding through the mountains, and you're not near the coastline for quite a ways. If I remember right, I drove this about a month ago coming from the other direction, and it's it's a long ways, maybe 100 kilometers or more without coming close. I just mentioned the temperature change, and yeah, it's already, it's only a couple of minutes later and it's already changed. It's nice and chilly, partially probably from the tree cover and the shade, but I am rapidly rising in elevation here. If only this motorcycle had enough power to pass this moped. I just can't seem to catch the scooter. Well, made it into Manzanillo. This is my first time actually coming in the town. Last time I went through here, I took the loop around, and this time I chose to skip that and stay on the 200 and hopefully avoid 1,200 pesos in tolls. At least that's what's according to the to my map. Map gives me some information on how much it's going to cost me in tolls. Well, turns out I was right. The map was trying to put me on a toll road, so I had to zigzag around and ended up in an interesting neighborhood.
Well, I'm back in one of my favorite places to be, and that's Arenas Blancas on the Michoacan coast. And I'm standing on the beach in a full moon. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't show this, but well, I mean, there's the full moon. But what it's not showing is there's 4 turtles. 2 on one side of me and 2 on the other. One on each side is coming up the beach, and one on each side is laying eggs. Oh crap, there's another one. I see another one coming out, and then there's another one down. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 just in my immediate vicinity. Awesome. Wow, she hauls ass. Well, you fast. See you later, girl. See you next time. Adios. And there goes a whole bunch more little baby turtles. Check them out. Oh, here they are. Holy moly. Hey, buddy. What do we got here? Who's this guy? Say hello. There you go, buddy.
Well, time once again to hit the road. Adios to Arenas Blancas. Always a good night's sleep. What's going on? Well, I'm gonna head out. I'm already a day or so behind anyway, so. Oh man. Yeah, we'll see. We'll be back. She's flying down to Acapulco, so I don't know where we're gonna go from there, but always a good time here. I wish I would have filmed that earlier. That was crazy. I got to see those turtles, but oh well. Yeah. We'll see you later, Moses. So that's Moses, the operator here of Arenas Blancas. $5-ish to camp, and $2.50, I guess, for the internet. 100 for camping, 50 pesos. 100 pesos for camping, 50 pesos for the internet. And there's bathrooms, there's showers. They're not, of course, they're not hot, but you don't really need hot showers here. And just a wonderful beach and a great experience with the turtles. What more could you want? On to Acapulco. Moses' brother has a beach place right here, Playa del Amor, and it's this really small cove. It's pretty cool. I don't really have time to stop. I got to get going. But I always highly recommend this Michoacan coastline for camping, and just make sure you camp somewhere at a camp space, because there can be cartel activity around here, and there has been. So if you're not encroaching upon somebody's property, you should be okay. Wow, this is a beautiful area. So this is right down the street from Arenas Blancas, and the road goes along the beach for quite some ways. Just beautiful. Very rocky beach. Oh, a bunch of clams down there. Alright, finally coming into Zihuatanejo. And 5 hours left to get to Bonefill on the other side of Acapulco. This is a pretty cool, good size, beach community here, beach city. It's got a pretty cool bay. Be careful of the cops here for sure. I had one get me for they have this really confusing intersection where you go to the beach, kind of in a tourist area, and the road splits off, and it doesn't say that it splits off. So you end up missing a turn, and they get you for a stop sign or something. Anyway, they have those sneaky little tricky stop signs here like they do in La Paz. You got to be careful of those things. Where what they'll do, like the one in La Paz, and I've seen it in other places too, is like if you come to the intersection where the white line is to stop, the stop sign will be about 200, maybe 100, 150 feet back, just on the side of the road, not at the intersection. So you just kind of don't even pay attention to it. So, and I got one, I got hit in La Paz, right on the strip in La Paz doing that. And it was, this cop, one of the municipal cops with the white shirt, just hanging out, waiting, pulling people over. It's like, that's his bread and butter. Just getting people at the trick stop sign. How's it going? Figured I'd turn my camera on here because there's a cop. Well, he's not following me, but he pulled up beside me, and if they think they're on camera, they don't want. They definitely won't be asking for a bribe. So that's the speed bump I hit, and I was probably slowed down to about 50 when I hit it, and yeah, it just snapped my linkage. And I was not the only person I've seen hit it, and as you can see there, someone hit the sign, and there's no other signs anywhere, so it was unmarked. And oops. Well, it looks like one of the most dangerous things I've run into here in Mexico has been topes. This is my, I guess, pinion arm or whatever you would call it for my monoshock. So hit a speed bump too fast. Not sure how, but it looks like it's going to work out. I've got one guy coming to pick me up in a truck, and another guy who's a motorcyclist who's supposed to come and help me. I think it's from Mexican Motorcycle Bike Club or something. Road has see what happened. Toll on me. So the bike I just broke, like the pinion arm that holds my monoshock. So I hit a tope, which is a speed bump, going a little bit too fast, maybe around 50, and I'm carrying a lot of gear. So it snapped that pinion arm on me, and the back seat just dropped right onto the tire. So there's no rear suspension on my bike currently, and I'm just out in the middle of nowhere
basically a little place, a little kind of village called Arroyo Seco. And I happen to be lucky enough to break down in front of some people's house that are nice enough to let me camp in their front yard. So here's the road right behind me. This is the 200 that runs the full coastal line of most of Mexico. And yeah, I'm camping in someone's front yard tonight. So wow. This trip never ceases to amaze me. Here's the busted bike and all of my gear. That's what broke it. I'm carrying like 300 pounds of gear. I really got to learn to lighten up a little. Well, here it is next morning. I'm still sitting in my campground on the side of the road here. Waiting on whoever it is that's supposed to come help me. So thanks to Acapulco Ron for finding someone near Zihuatanejo to come out and give me a hand. I don't know if I'm going to be able to weld this thing or not. It's cast aluminum. I don't know how safe that is if we do weld it, if it'll even get me where I'm going or what. But I'll find out as the day goes on. We're trying to get the other half off right now, but of course they didn't make it easy at all. You have to remove the muffler to get the piece out. It's crazy. Well, this is what I got. It's welded up. Let's hope it works. If not, I'm screwed. If I go about 20 miles an hour all the way to Acapulco, maybe I'll be okay. Well, there they go. They're putting that son of a bitch back together. Wish me luck. I know I am. Oh man. If this breaks on the way, then I'm doubly screwed. Wish me luck. And lots of it. There she is. You gotta put the muffler and stuff back on. Well, unbelievably, these guys came and they fixed my motorcycle. It didn't take them that long at all. They got it off in no time, and they had to like pull my muffler and all this. And then they took the part and welded it, fixed it, and I'm just gonna drive slow and watch for bumps to make sure it doesn't happen again. And then I've got the new part coming from the States. Jono's gonna be flying in to Acapulco and bringing me the new part so I can fix it right. But they got me on the road, and they only wanted 300 pesos. I mean, I gave them 500 pesos. It was just like 25 bucks. And the guy who let me sleep in his yard, he wouldn't take money either. So I had most of a 12 pack of Victoria. So I gave him, almost a whole 12 pack of beer. So that's what it took, and it's on the road. I've had this experience before when my truck broke down in the middle of nowhere, and someone just picked my truck up and towed it into town for free on a big flatbed. And then these guys went, I don't even know where they went, because we were in the middle of nowhere, and they went and found a fuel pump for my truck. Dropped the tank, put the new pump in, and the whole bit. And yeah, I was like, it's amazing what they can do with almost nothing here in Mexico. Hey, when it comes to fixing stuff, they figure it out, because you just can't get parts, so they just make their own. It is amazing. So I'm very blessed to be back on the road again, and I'm very thankful to those guys for helping me out. And my friend Ron, Acapulco Ron, who got a hold of some bikers. So it was actually a biker gang. It was a Mexican biker gang that found the mechanics for me to come and fix my stuff. So shout out to all the Mexican bikers. Well, you guys rock, man. Which, see, we've got 60 more kilometers to my destination, which is actually on the other side of Acapulco. So we're pretty close to Acapulco. And yeah, it's a cool little town. What an amazing trip.
Like, I just still can't get over how I was lucky enough to get that fixed. Like, these guys show up on their Italica 125 motorcycle. Two guys, kind of a little hefty. I mean, they weren't skinny guys. And they had this little cardboard box, like, I don't know, 6 inches by 6 inches square. You know, big enough for like one of those big muffins they sell at the truck stop in the U.S. I forget what they call Cinnabon. One of the big Cinnabon muffins, you know, that size, but a brown cardboard box. And it had a handful of sockets and one socket wrench, and then 3 or 4 little Allen wrenches with a handle on them. And then they had a drill, which is like a DeWalt impact drill, and not a very big one, and one battery, the only battery. They didn't have extra battery or anything. And they dismantled that thing, and I swear it's like they put it back together with 3 pieces of juicy fruit and a pack of Tic Tacs, man. Like, just working with nothing. And they got me back on the road, and I'm already 150-ish, 148 kilometers into my drive, and I'm still doing good. So I can only assume that I am going to make it to my destination on this jerry-rigged. Just now getting into Pi de la Cuesta. And it's a cluster. We'll call it Pi de la Cluster. So you go through like a ton of villages before you get here to Pi de la Cuesta. But this is on the beach, and you go down here and you turn just past this OXXO. Actually, I think you can turn by this Pemex. There's a shortcut. No, right up here. Anyway, there's a little shortcut there, or you go all the way up to the T, and that'll take you to a little area that kind of fronts the beach. And there's an RV park there called Acapulco Trailer Park, where my friend Acapulco, right down there. So where my friend Acapulco Ron has been staying lately. That helped me out getting a hold of these biker guys. Anyway, it's a little expensive for Mexico prices, but way cheap for American prices. I think it's 500 pesos to camp. I don't know if it's cheaper for tent camping, but I guess it's gone up. It wasn't that expensive a couple of years ago. It's really, really nice. The waves are loud. That's probably the only complaint. I mean, if you like the waves, you're gonna love it, but they're loud. They crash on the beach. The wave breaks just before the beach and just crashes really hard. And like my whole RV would shake sometimes. But yeah, it's a nice place. There's good restaurants real close by that you can just walk down the beach to. A little bit of a checkpoint here. They rarely even stop you here, but sometimes they do. They don't really bother you. Alright, coming up on the Costera here pretty quick. Look there. Woolworth. I was watching a thing recently about how Woolworth died, and I don't know, it was some video about all the companies that died, Sears and Roebuck, but they're still here. Like Thrifty's ice cream too. And nope, forerunners, no horses, and no riders. Probably why. The military look busy. They're usually texting. They just ride around in the back of the trucks and text all day until the cartel acts up. Then they got to get busy. And there it is. Beautiful view. And here's the XTC. This is not the entrance, but you get to enter downstairs. You go in right there. And it's a zip line that goes across the Bay of Marquez, which claims to be the longest in the world. But I think I've heard at least 3 others also claim to be the longest in the world. So who knows? Alright, coming into Playa Bonfil. My final destination. Be careful. This would be a bad place to lose it on the tope. And make a stop at my favorite taco joint. Oh yeah, let's do this.